Whenever I solve inequalities, I do it in a manner that's remarkably similar to solving equations with just one difference. And that difference being if I divide or multiply both sides by a negative, I have to flip the direction of the sign. So let's go ahead and do this example and see if at any point we have to flip the direction of the sign. I'm going to start solving it just like an equation by simplifying both sides. Here I'm distributing the 2. I get 6x plus 2, and then drop everything else straight down. Plus 2 is less than or equal to negative 8. I'm not done simplifying both sides first because I have like terms to combine. So I get 6x plus 4 is less than or equal to negative 8. I now have what is essentially a two-step equation to solve. I subtract 4 from both sides. I isolate this 6x term. I'm getting closer to isolating x. And then negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. And then the last step, to get the x by itself or isolated, I divide by 6. And I get an x. And I get a negative 2. And the question is, do I have to flip the direction of the sign? And in this case, the answer is no, because I didn't divide by a negative. Even though there's a negative on this side right here, I didn't divide by it. My negative would have to be down there in order for me to have to flip the direction of the sign. So my answer is x is less than or equal to negative 2. So the difference here between an equation and an inequality is I now have an infinite number of answers, anything that's negative 2 and below. So I like to represent that with a number line. Now my number line is just more for reference. I always include 0, and then I include 2 other points. In this case, I'm going to include negative 2 and 2. I look to see what sort of dot I need to have, and I remember that any time that I have less than or equal to, that's a closed dot, meaning that value is included in my answer. And then I check to see which way I have to shade. I'm looking at all the numbers less than or equal to negative 2, so all the numbers below negative 2. And the shaded region shows me where all of my solutions are. I can easily check, plug in a number like 0 to see if it's true. 0 is not less than or equal to negative 2, so I wouldn't shade on that side. I would shade on the other side. So my complete answer has 2 parts. I'm looking at both the inequality statement, x is less than or equal to negative 2, and I'm looking at my number line, showing me where my infinite solutions are, in this case from negative 2 and below.